Pincha presses. Now we have to apply everything we've already learned, especially about setting the foundation and the transportation mechanisms of how we get up, right? That protraction of the shoulder blades is going to be really essential for pressing. And then there's a few other things I really want you to start focusing on when you think about pressing. One we've talked a bit about, but we're going to put even more emphasis on the pulling up using the backside of the muscles. Okay, so really thinking about having your muscles work to come up and then becoming unhinged. So I want you to start thinking about this crease right here at your hips as, and I'll reference it as your hip crease. And I want you to start to think about it like a door, opening and closing, and opening and closing. So pulling, not just floating, we're pulling up from backside muscles. It's harder to connect with sometimes. We're gonna work on it though. And unhinging, thinking about this hip crease as a hinge, as a door that opens and closes. And then remembering all of those transportation elements of Pincha Mayurasana, even when we're using the push and the pull to get up, using push off and momentum to get up, we still want to apply those same principles of spreading the scapulas, etc. We're going to keep all of those in mind when we're working on our presses. And then also think about just the very basic foundational essentials. Setting the foundation. What is your base of support? Identify that. And then identify where your center of mass is. And understand as you travel through space how you're shifting your center of mass and it's changing while your base of support remains the same. And what we need to do to find that balance and where we need to put the effort and the work to then press up to become unhinged. Lastly, this is so important because it takes so much strength and effort in putting all of these things together and trying over and over and over again. It's so, so important to remember this dynamic interplay of opposing parts, how opposites need each other to succeed, to exist. We have to push away to lift off. We have to ground down to expand up. We have to have equal parts, strength, incredible strength, and release. And if you overpower one, then you will find that you keep hitting this brick wall. I think that with pressing up, often the brick wall is that we forget when to let go. We're holding on so tight. We're gripping it so hard. We want it so bad. We want to keep it so bad that we forget that we needed to let go, to let it be and let it become. So those equal parts, strength and release. And my personal reminder to you on this journey, and I always reflect on this when it comes to presses, is how I remember the days when I was trying so desperately, wanted to press so badly, and I would work relentlessly, and I would do any tutorial I could find and go to any workshop I could go to. I would participate in every single challenge. And I remember all of those first moments. I remember my first crow press, as ugly as it was. I remember my first puppy. I remember them all. And I remember that it didn't happen on my first try. It took all of that work. It took all of that time and practice and just trying over and over and over again and doing the work and showing up for the challenges, showing up for the tutorials, for the workshops. But when I did succeed, that moment after you've put so much into it, that moment where you finally hit that goal, you achieve, you did it, that seemingly impossible thing, that ultimate goal, the feeling still lives inside of me and gives me zest to this day. Just so inspired and passionate, and always after those next things. But now more than ever, I understand that being in it, being in the journey, and the work you had to do to get there is what makes that time when you get it so sweet. So put in the work, take the time. When you get there, it's going to feel so good, not because you did it, but because what it took to get you there. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. And the other thing is, hand in hand with the strength and release, with all of the work, with all of the time I would put into it, sometimes it was that simple. Okay, you've done it. You did it. You did the work. You can let go now and let it become. And I remember my moment with straddle press specifically when I reminded myself, okay, you gotta let go, let go. And I would try so hard. I'm like, and I would tell myself as I'm in there and I'm like trying so hard, let go. And then whoosh, just whoosh, went up. And I could feel it. I felt that moment when I knew when to apply that let go, that release. Then it, like a spring-like action, finished the equation. So all of those things I want you to take into your journey and appreciate every single second of it. And now I'd like to show you just a few maybe goals or things you can dabble with and keep attempting and trying and applying. And when you get there, oh, it's going to be so great. So, Pincha Mayurasana, forearm stand, presses. Puppy press. Straddle press. Pike press. And then there's presses that you can do coming from baby arm balances, which is essentially a pincha arm balance with your forearms down. So these are really difficult. You could do it with, it's gonna be more and more difficult depending on what variations. I think crow might be your easiest, flying crow really hard. Your condensed space, there's not a lot to work with. The mechanism, this hydraulic lifting motion of the shoulders is really all that you have to go with in this region, in this condensed region. And so maybe the most, not simple whatsoever, but approachable one to begin with would be crow. Lotus is another one, but again, really difficult. And then eventually you'll be working with transitions that would bring you back down into these baby pincha variations. Again, really condensed space. You saw how close my head is, how much I really have to muscle power up just through this sort of lever system here. But a lot of different ways to play, and every time you try something, whether it's that peak goal or not, maybe it's just a little stepping stone along the way, you're building something. You're growing stronger in some way or lengthening in some way. Your brain is communicating with your body and your muscles and mechanisms, and it's learning and adapting in some way. So there is no failure. There is no failure. You're always growing and just adding little sparks of information into your toolbox. And we will leave it at that as far as pressing and even transitioning. Again, the same thing that I said with the back bends and the hollow backs. We could spend a whole day or a whole workshop, a whole tutorial on one of these, just on that baby crow or a baby crow press or a transition from headstand to pincha, pincha to handstand. Those could be their whole topic. So I encourage you that if there's one in particular that you've been working on and you're trying to get it past a certain level, or maybe you're just stuck somewhere and you're trying to evolve a little bit more, or it's just something you want to do or try or have more information on, please reach out to me. I would be happy to put together its own little tutorial for you. Otherwise, have fun playing in pincha and inverting. It is such a useful practice for many different reasons. It has all of those elements that we seek out of a practice, but we also get to be playful and spend a lot of time upside down, reversing the effects of gravity and growing stronger in multi-directional, multi-dimensional sort of way. So continue to play upside down. Make sure that it is fun. Make sure that you understand that every little step is part of the joy of the journey. That if you just did it, you were just immediately there, then poof, that all of that journey is gone. And the journey really is, I'm telling you, it's the good stuff. It's the stuff that I look back on and reflect on, and it puts a smile on my face. It's what keeps you motivated and striving and trying. Inversions and these sort of practices, they take such incredible internal awareness and focus that has its own meditational and in the zone quality. So you might be just messing around, you just want to do something that looks superhuman, or you want to do something that's kind of more athletic, or you just want to do something that's more acrobatic. But the win-win is that you're going to get all of these deeper layers, deeper connections, more internal awareness, more focus, more body control out of it no matter what. So it's a win-win. Namaste.